But first tonight, you've probably heard by now of the miraculous escape of a young skydiver who was saved from death after a high-altitude formation jump went very wrong. Debbie Williams, a skydiver with 50 jumps behind her, was knocked unconscious when she collided with a fellow parachutist in the mid-air. As she plummeted to earth, her team instructor, Gregory Robertson, literally flew to her and released her emergency chute. It opened only seconds before she hit the ground. Gregory Robertson's feat in reaching the free-falling Debbie is being hailed as a miracle. Ron Sinclair spoke with a very modest Gregory Robertson today from Phoenix, Arizona.
Well, Gregory Robertson in Phoenix, Arizona, it sounds like you're a lucky man to be alive tonight.
Yeah, I guess so.
What exactly happened up there?
Well, I was in a free-falling with a group of skydivers, and I watched a girl collide into another skydiver in a dive and get herself knocked out. And I realized she was knocked out when she passed under me and her mouth was all covered with blood. So I just started diving down towards her, and I caught her about 3,500 feet and was able to deploy her reserve parachute at about 2,700 feet and get my own open about a little over 2,000 feet.
So how far did you actually free fall chasing Debbie?
Just about 6,000 feet.
And how long would that take to fall?
At the speeds we were going, it probably took about 20 seconds.
So you actually, for that period of time at least, became a human spear?
Yes. Human bullet.
So how long did she have to go before she would have hit the ground?
Oh, probably about 15, 16 seconds at that point. When I opened her parachute, she was about 14 seconds above the ground.
What sort of things went through your mind when you had to make that decision whether to pull your own ripcord or go after Debbie?
Well, when I first started chasing her, I just wondered if I could do it, if I could catch her. And then when I got down to her and was 2 feet from her in the air waiting for her reserve ripcord to come around as she was spinning, I just said, well, I'm too close now. I'm going to stay here and get this ripcord.
What sort of risk did you have to put yourself at to save her life?
Well, I had to dive down, and I lost track of my altitude at one point. I knew I was high, but I wasn't sure how high I was. And then when I was deploying my own parachute, the other members of the formation, who were several hundred feet below us, were deploying their parachutes, and I had to make emergency steering with mine to get out of their way to keep from colliding with them.
Did you have time to use your main chute, or did you have to rely upon your reserve chute as well?
I had time to use my own main parachute.
How did Debbie land?
Kind of hard. She was still unconscious when she landed, but her parachute carried her right to the edge of the camping area. And so she hit and landed very hard, which also injured her. She broke several ribs and punctured her lungs, her liver, and her kidney.
And what's the latest report on Debbie's condition?
We were out there this afternoon at the hospital, and she's still listed in serious condition, but she's stable, and she's even sitting up in chairs in the intensive care unit.
Do you know of this sort of incident ever having happened previously?
I've heard, around the campfire stories about it, but the way everybody's making a fuss over it, I don't think we've got any documentation to show it's been done before.
Well, there is a fuss. There's even talk now of you receiving a bravery award for what you did.
Well, okay.
Gregory Robertson in Phoenix, thanks very much for your time and telling us of a very brave act.